Many people spend their lives giving too much of themselves. They say yes when their heart is tired. They carry other people's moods, fears, and demands. They bend so no one gets upset. They try to be helpful, kind, and agreeable, hoping it will bring peace. But with time, something strange happens. The more they give, the less they are seen. The more they try to please, the more others expect. And a person can wake one day with a quiet sadness, realizing they no longer know what they want, only what others want from them. There was once a young man who lived exactly this way, and his story shows what happens when a good heart forgets to choose itself. Once upon a time, in a small village near the mountains, lived a young carpenter named Luca. He was quiet, kind, and skilled with his hands. He made simple tables and doors for the people around him. Luca grew up without a father, and as a child, he learned one painful idea. If I stay agreeable, people will accept me. So he tried hard to be good for everyone. He smiled when he wanted to cry. He said yes when his heart wanted to say no. He feared that if he upset someone, they would walk away. And because of this, people began to take advantage of him. A neighbor once said, "Luca, fix my long fence by tomorrow." Luca knew it needed a week, but he swallowed his truth and answered, "Yes, I will try." He worked all night. His hands bled, his eyes burned. In the morning, the neighbor looked at the fence and said, "You should have done more." Another man entered his workshop asking for a table. Luca showed him strong wood and good work. The man offered only a few coins and said, "This is enough for your skill." Luca felt shame rise inside him, but fear was stronger, and he agreed. Some people even spoke to him with hard voices, joked about him, or called him weak. Luca forced a smile each time, hiding how deeply it hurt. He worked late every day. Splinters cut his fingers, his back ached, and still he heard, "You could have done better." Another carpenter would do it cheaper. The more he tried to please, the more people demanded. If he said yes once, they asked twice. If he gave more, they respected him less. One evening he sat alone in his quiet workshop. Luca looked at his hands and felt like a stranger to his own life. He tried to name something he truly wanted, a dream, a plan, a wish, but nothing came. His days belonged to the expectations of others. Some days later, Luca walked to the next village to buy wood. On the way, he stopped by a small river to wash his tired hands. Under a willow tree sat an old hermit weaving a basket. The man's face was calm. He looked at Luca and asked gently, "My son, why do you carry the eyes of someone already tired of life?" Luca wanted to say he was fine, but the man's voice softened his defenses. He sat on a stone and began to speak. First slowly, then openly, he shared everything. He shared his fear of upsetting people, the fence demanded in a day, the cheap work, the sharp words, and the feeling that nothing in his life was his own. The old man listened without one interruption. Then he reached behind him and took out 2 clay bowls, one whole, one cracked. He filled both with river water and handed them to Luca. "Carry these to that stone in return," he said. Luca walked carefully. When he came back, the whole bowl was full. A cracked bowl was almost empty. The old man asked, "Why did the water escape from the cracked bowl?" Luca lowered his eyes. "Because I was not careful enough. I should have held it better." The old man shook his head. "No, the bowl was never shaped to hold what you poured into it. Even if you carry it a lifetime, it will still empty itself." He looked into Luca's tired face and continued, "This is what happens when you try to fill the hearts of those who are not meant to receive you. You blame yourself for what was never in your power. You say, 'If I work more, they will love me. If I bend more, they will respect me.' But some hearts are like that cracked bowl. They cannot hold your effort or your care." He placed the whole bowl in Luca's hands. "Your task is not to keep carrying the cracked bowl. Your task is to choose the bowl that can hold your water. Choose people who can truly hold what you give. Choose those who choose you back. Something moved inside Luca. It was small at first, like the beginning of a new breath after a long, deep sigh. On his walk home, his thoughts became clearer. He saw how his heart had lived through the eyes of others. The more he tried to be pleasing, the further he wandered from his own true path. He understood that a person who tries to be accepted by everyone wakes one morning with nothing, no voice, no will of his own. People would always say something, kind words, bitter words, careless words, but none of them would walk his path for him. Their opinions were like the wind, always moving, never in his control. Living for those opinions only wasted his strength. Then he remembered the hermit's simple words. You were not born to be convenient. You were born to be true. And Luca finally heard himself. He saw a deep truth. A person becomes free only when they stop giving their soul to people who never valued it. When he returned to his village, he did not become harsh. He simply began to choose where his strength went. When someone demanded the impossible, he said, "No, I cannot do that in a day." When someone tried to pay almost nothing, he answered, "My work has its price." When someone spoke with disrespect, he walked away. At first, people were surprised. Some were angry. They said, "Luca has changed. He has become proud." But Luca felt something new. He felt a small, steady peace. He was not trying to carry every bowl anymore. He was choosing. With time, something quiet and important happened. People who never truly valued him started to move away on their own. They wanted the old Luca, who always said yes. But others began to draw closer. These people respected his time. They spoke to him kindly, and they paid him fairly. They also thanked him for his work. Luca now worked less, but with more heart. His hands slowly healed. For the first time in his life, Luca felt that his days belonged to him, not to the endless expectations of others. Life is brief, and we do not get a second version of it. There is no reason to spend it trying to earn a place in someone's world. Hearts that are meant for you do not make you beg, shrink, or prove yourself. Choose the ones who bring ease to your spirit and honesty to your days. Choose the ones who see you without effort. Choose the ones who meet you with the same steps you take toward them. Let everyone else pass, not through anger, but through clarity. Not because you are cold, but because your time has value. Your life becomes fuller the moment you stop chasing hands that never reach back. Walk with those who choose you freely. Protect the little time you have. Give your presence to the few who can hold it with respect. If this story touched you, keep it in your heart. Share it with someone who gives too much to those who give nothing back. And remember, step by step, you are allowed to choose differently now.